I've made tens of thousands of dollars of passive income selling digital products online. And I have a lot of videos on my channel where I talk about the strategy that I use to become a top seller in my niche. But lately I've noticed I've been getting an influx of comments from new and aspiring digital product sellers who want me to break down my step-by-step process for actually creating a digital product from start to finish. So in this video, that's exactly what I'm going to do. In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a printable worksheet. And the reason that I'm choosing this product in particular is because in another one of my videos, I showed you my behind the scenes process for actually finding high demand digital products. And the data proves that these types of digital products are in high demand. And one of the best things about creating and selling printable worksheets online is that you can do this with a completely free Canva account. So I'm going to bring you with me over to Canva and I'll show you exactly how to create a best-selling worksheet from scratch. All right, so right now we're behind the scenes of my Canva account. And as you can see, I have a blank design pulled up here. And for the sizing of this design, it is 8.5 by 11 inches. And that's because we're creating a worksheet and that is the standard printer paper size. So first things first, I just want to structure the basic layout of this worksheet. So in order to do that, I'm going to go over here to the toolbar on the left-hand side and I'm going to select elements. And then down here under shapes, I'm going to select square. All right, now we've got this square element pulled up on our screen and I am going to change the details of this square element. So first I'll change the actual square and I'll make the color white. And then up here next to this color gradient on the top, I want to select these lines here where it says stroke style. Now I'm going to select this solid line here and I'm going to reduce the stroke weight to 2. And that just makes the outline around the square super thin. So I'll be resizing the square and duplicating it just to lay out some visual boundaries for me while I'm making this worksheet. So first things first, I want to carve out a section for the name and date. So I'll drag the square up to the top here. And then with the square still selected, I'm going to resize it. So in order to change the size of the square, I'm going to hover over the side of the square that I actually want to resize until I see these arrows pop up. And then I can just click and drag the square to where I want it to end. So I want the square to go all the way to the end of the paper. And you can see when I drag it to the end of the paper, there's this little red pop-up on the top that says danger zone. Now that just means that the edge of the square could potentially get cut off in print, but the actual outlines of the square itself aren't really all that important. Now, if you're designing something like a piece of art, or if you were writing the actual words that were gonna go on the worksheet, you don't want those to be in the danger zone. But for this square outline, it really doesn't matter. So we can ignore that danger zone signal that we see. So now that we have this right edge dragged over here to the edge of the worksheet, I'm going to resize the bottom part of the square as well. So I'll just drag this up here. So now that we've got a section for their name and the date, I want to duplicate this square. That way I can carve out another section. This section will have the instructions for the worksheet. So in order to duplicate this square, I will select it. And then right here, we have all these options that pop up. I'm going to select this one that says duplicate. And selecting duplicate creates another identical version of this square. And I'm already happy with the width of the square, so I just want to resize the height. So now I'm just going to duplicate the square one last time. That way I can have a section for the actual work that's going to be in the worksheet. So again, just like last time, I'm going to select the square. I'm going to hover over duplicate and then select duplicate. And then I can click and drag the square to move it where I want it. And then again, to resize it, I just hover my mouse over the part that I want to actually resize. And then I can click and drag it down. I'm going to drag it all the way down until I see that danger zone pop up. And then I will release it. And then now that I'm done editing the size of the square, I'll just click off. And that way I don't have anything selected anymore. All right, so now that we have the boundaries of this worksheet actually defined, we can go in and actually create the contents of this worksheet. So we'll label the name and date. We'll give the worksheet a title. And then we can come up with some instructions and some worksheet content. So in order to do that, I'm going to again go over here to the toolbar on the left-hand side and I'll select text. And every time I create a worksheet, I always use a dyslexia-friendly font. So I'll start by just selecting a text. And then up here on the top where it says font, I will select this font. And then I'm going to type in dyslexic. And then this is the font that I always use for worksheets and educational materials, is this Open Dyslexic font. I know that this font might not be as aesthetically pleasing as the other fonts, but again, as a former teacher, I want this worksheet to be practical and as inclusive as possible. So this is a font that I'm gonna go with, but you can always choose something different for your own worksheets. So I'm going to click this X here just to get rid of these font options. And then I'm going to select and drag this up here. Now we can see that the size of this font is 42. The standard size for like an essay on a paper would be 12. I think that's a little small, especially for younger kids, but I think 42 might be a little bit too large. So I'm going to select 30. So with the text still selected, I'm going to hover over the box and slide it over to the right. And as you can see, when I do that, this word actually moves, and that's because it is aligned in the center. So in order to change that, we can select alignment up here at the top, and then the alignment changes all the way to the left, and that's where we want it for this particular part of the worksheet. So I'm going to change this to say name, because this is a space where I want students to write their name. And then I'm going to select the text and duplicate it. And then over here, I will write date. I'm actually going to drag this down just a little bit. And I'm also going to resize this box. Okay, so now we've got a space for the name and the date. So now I want to create a title for this worksheet. So in order to create a title for this worksheet, I'm again going to duplicate this text. And then I'm going to align this text in the center since it's a title. And in order to make sure that the text is in the very center of this worksheet, I can actually select it and drag it and move it around. And you can see that when it's in the very center, there's gonna be this solid purple line that'll pop up. So I want it in the center of the worksheet, but of course I wanna move it up just a little bit. So I'll have the title right here. Okay, and now I can actually name my worksheet. So for this worksheet, I'm gonna go ahead and title it Count the Colors. And again, I'm just dragging and centering the title here. And then I'll duplicate the title by clicking it and again, selecting duplicate. I'm going to drag it over here and align this to the left. So I'll go up to the top to where it says alignment and I'll click alignment. And I want this text here on the left-hand side to say directions. And now I'll just once again select directions, duplicate it, drag this down here, align it to the left. And then I will type some directions here. So I want this particular worksheet to be a mix of coloring and counting. That way we can target fine motor skills, color identification, and also math. This worksheet could potentially be great for kids as young as preschool or even up to the 2nd grade. And while some of these kids might be a little bit too young to actually read the directions themselves, either way, the directions are gonna be super helpful for the teachers so they know the actual purpose of the worksheet. So we're gonna make the directions as simple as possible and actually list them in step-by-step format. So first we'll have step 1, and I'm actually going to reduce the size of this text just a little bit. So I'm going to highlight the text, and then up here where it says font size, I'm going to reduce it, and I'll reduce it to 25. So for step 1, I'm going to write color in the pictures of the foods below. And as you can see, when I type that, all of these words kind of get congested over here on the left-hand side, but I don't want that. So I'm going to hover over this box that the text is in and drag it all the way out here. Now I want all these words to fit in this one line. So I'm actually going to reduce the size of the text just a little bit more. So now I can hover over this step 1, duplicate it, and I can create step 2. And then as you can see, we have a little bit of extra space here at the bottom of this box. So I'm going to select the box and slide it up. And of course, as you can see in the directions, we have 2 different steps here. So there's going to be 2 different parts to this worksheet. So the first part, I'm going to find some images of some different foods, probably fruits and vegetables. And I'm going to insert those images here for the kids to color in. And then under that, I'll have some simple questions that prompt the students to actually count up the number of foods they see in each color category. So first things first, I'll select this box and I'll resize it. That way we have this entire space to work with. And now we get to do the fun part. So in order to find some images that I can actually put onto this worksheet, I'm going to go up here to the left-hand side again and select elements. And then up here on the search bar, I'm going to type in apple. So as you can see, all of the images of apples definitely have colors, so the kids wouldn't be able to color them in. And then you can also see that these little crowns pop up and it says this premium image is included with your Canva Pro plan. So I have Canva Pro, but if you don't have Canva Pro and you don't want to pay for it, that's completely fine when you're creating a worksheet. All you have to do is go up here to the filters on the right hand side and select this little icon, and then we can filter it based on what we want. So I'm going to select free. Okay, so I have free selected, and now I can just click off of this here and I can select see all. And as you can see, one of the first little images that pops up is this black and white little sketch of this apple. So I'm going to click this and then it will pop up here on my worksheet and I can resize this. And then as you can see, we have magic recommendations. So there's a bunch of other cutouts of different fruits, and I can select see all, and that'll make it really easy for me to input a bunch of fruits here. So I'm going to select this banana here. I'll also select this pumpkin here. I also want to select this carrot, and up here I'll select this lemon at the top. and I'm going to resize it by selecting the box and dragging it to the left. Now I want to choose these cherries and I'll slide these over to the right and resize them as well. I also think adding broccoli would be a good idea. So I'll select this broccoli, resize it and move it over. I actually like this carrot a little bit better. I feel like it kind of goes with the other designs a bit better. So I'm going to add this carrot. Again, I'm going to resize it by selecting it, hovering over this dot here and sliding it over. And I want to delete this carrot. So in order to delete something, you can either select it and hit the delete button here, which is this little trash can, or you can just hit your backspace or delete on your keyboard. Okay, I kind of have a fruits and vegetable theme going here. So I'm going to add this strawberry, and then let's see, I want to add one more. I guess we can put an orange, even though the name of it is kind of going to give it away, but that's okay. Okay, so now we have a problem, obviously, because the items here on this worksheet are taking up a lot of space and we need space for the questions still. So I'm just going to resize everything, and by this point, you should know how to resize and move things over since we've done it a few times, but I'm just going to clarify step by step one more time with this apple, and then I'll kind of speed through this process a little bit. That way we can jump ahead to the next part of this worksheet. So again, to move things and to resize them, all you have to do is hover your mouse over them and click it. And again, if I want to make it bigger or smaller, all I have to do is look at this purple square here. There's 4 dots here on each corner of the square. I just select whichever dot I want, and in order to make it smaller, I follow the inward arrow, and in order to make it bigger, I follow the outward arrow. I like the size of the apple. I'm gonna leave it about that size, and then I'm going to click it, hold down my mouse, and slide it over to where I want it to be. And I'm just gonna repeat this step with the other fruits and vegetables that I have here. For this carrot, I actually want to rotate it because it's a little bit too big, but if it was slanted a little bit more like this banana, it would be better. So in order to do that, I have the carrot selected already. So I select the carrot, click on it, and then you'll notice these little arrows here that look like a circle. Hold down your mouse while you're clicking on that, and you can move it to the left, you can move it to the right, and the orientation of the carrot will move with your mouse. And then you just let it go when it's at whatever position you want it to be at. So I'll make it smaller. Okay, so I actually really like this layout that we have, so I'm gonna go ahead and delete this orange. I'm kind of torn about whether or not I should label these fruits. The teacher in me wants to label it because I can already see a ton of kids asking, what's this, what's that? So I'm just gonna go ahead and label it. So I'm going to select this here, press duplicate, and I will write up the names of each of these fruits and vegetables. Okay, so now that we have our fruits and vegetables labeled, I can go ahead and write the questions for this worksheet. So I'm going to select this box here and I'm going to resize it. And then I'm going to select the box again and I'm actually going to duplicate it. And then I'll slide this box down here until the bottom of the box is aligned with that danger zone. And then I'm going to drag and drop this edge of the box down just a little bit. Okay, and now I have a section for me to write a few questions for the students. So I'm going to select any text and select duplicate. With this box still selected, I go up here to alignment and I'm going to click it and then I'll write 1. And then now I can ask a question to the students. So the first question I'll ask is, how many foods do you see? So again, with this text selected, I will select duplicate, drag it down, and I'll ask a different question. I'll ask, how many orange foods do you see? Again, I will select it, duplicate it, drag this down. And for number 3, I'll ask, how many red foods do you see? And then again, with this selected, I will select duplicate, and I'll ask, how many yellow foods do you see? And I will ask, how many green foods do you see? Okay, so now I'm just going to space these questions out. I'm actually going to delete question 5. That way there's a little bit more space here for the students' answers, because sometimes really young kids write really big. So I'm going to delete this here and I'll slide this down and just give them some more space here. Okay, so now I'm actually going to break this section up even more, just with some more boxes in order to create a boundary between each question, so that way the students know where to write their answers. So I'm going to select this box and I'm going to slide it up so it's only surrounding question number 1, and then I'll keep duplicating this and sliding it down. As you can see, when I slide this box down, it completely covers question number 2 because the inside of the box is white. And we created this box after we wrote those words. So now it's covering the question. So that's a super easy fix. With this box still selected, all we have to do is go up here to position on the top right-hand side of our screen. We can select position. So up here under arrange where it says backward, select backward. And then now this box is behind this question here. I created a new box and now I'll select backward, and I created a new box and I will send it backward again. So the alignment is a little janky here. So I'm just going to slide these questions down. That way they are very easy to read. And now the students have plenty of room to write their numerical answers here over on the right. And creating a worksheet is that easy. So now all we have to do is actually give our worksheet a title and make sure that we save it correctly. That way when we upload it, whether it's to Etsy, which is the platform that I sell on, or if you're selling on a different platform like Teachers Pay Teachers or Gumroad, or wherever you're posting this product, you want to make sure that you save it as the correct file. That way it's super easy and simple for your customers to download and print. So first things first, I will write the title here. So I'm going to name this worksheet, well, I'll just name it Counting Colors Worksheet. Okay, so I've got my worksheet saved as Counting Colors Worksheet. Now, in order to actually save it correctly, I go up here to this top right-hand side of my screen where it says share, and I'm going to select share. So after I select share, you can see that there are a bunch of different options here. For a worksheet, the one that we want to select to actually share with our buyer is going to be this download button here. And now you can see that Canva is suggesting that we save this as a PNG. So a PNG is actually a picture file, and for worksheets and documents in particular, when they're meant to be printed out, I recommend saving it as a PDF rather than a PNG. So I'm going to select this here where it says PNG, and I'm going to go down to PDF print, and I'm going to select PDF print. And as you can see, there's no crown next to PDF print, so you can totally save your design as a PDF print with the free version of Canva. The color profile does not matter because this worksheet is in black and white. So once we have PDF print selected, we can select download. Okay, and as you can see here at the bottom right-hand corner of my screen, it says completed. And now I have this PDF file on my computer. So all I have to do to actually sell this on any website is actually upload this PDF to whatever website I want to sell my product on. If you like this worksheet that we created here together and you want to use it as a sort of template so you can customize it and use it to create other worksheets, I'll drop the link to this worksheet in the description box below this video. I'll also drop the link to my shop starter kits in the description box below this video as well. Each of those starter kits has over 160 different customizable digital products. So if you want to start your online business, but you don't have a bunch of time to dedicate to actually building these products from scratch, that's a great option for those of you who want to get started faster. Now that you actually know how to create a best-selling digital product from start to finish, if you plan on actually selling this digital product, it's important that you know how to design a high-quality listing cover that attracts customers and will make them actually want to purchase your product. So I'll drop my step-by-step digital product listing cover tutorial in the description box below this video. That way you've got everything you need to get your business started on the right foot. If you like the digital product that we created here together in this video, I'll drop a link in the description box below. That way you can download it, and that's completely free to download. I'm just dropping it there for those of you who might find that helpful. If you found this video helpful, make sure you give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications. That way you don't miss my future videos or the free resources that I include in them. Feel free to drop a comment if you've got any lingering questions or if there's anything you need help with on your digital product journey. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.